Sometimes, to catch a murderer, you don't need fingerprints, you don't need bloodstains, you don't even need a body. Sometimes, all you need is to observe behavior. Because in the world of violent death, the killer rarely comes in from the cold. They don't sneak through dark alleyways or wear masks. No, they often sit right beside you. They smile, they share meals, they earn your trust, and then they strike.
In murder investigations across the world, a chilling pattern emerges. More than 99% of solved homicide cases point not to strangers, but to the inner circle. The husband, the friend, the co-worker, the bodyguard, the ones you never see coming. Take the case of Charles Ware, the former Member of Parliament. He didn't fall to an assassin's bullet from a political enemy. His life ended at the hands of the very people paid to protect him, his own driver and bodyguard. The betrayal was surgical, intimate, final. When guardians become executioners, trust becomes the murder weapon.
So much money of our company resources.
Or consider Jacob Juma, a man who knew he was marked. He didn't whisper it, he shouted it from the rooftops. He named names. He predicted the moment. He understood the game. Yet, when he died, it wasn't in a random carjacking. No, the whispers pointed inward, to familiar corridors of power. He wasn't just silenced, he was sacrificed. So, what do all these stories tell us? That betrayal is often the first cut, and that in many murders, the killer doesn't always have to pull the trigger. Sometimes, the decision alone, to betray, is enough. Because when a stranger kills you, it's a crime. But when someone close betrays you, it becomes a personal tragedy, with your name written in trust. And now, ladies and gentlemen, fast forward to May 21st, 2025. Kenya was shaken by the mysterious disappearance of a young woman, Ann Waithera. She was just 23 years old, a quiet, hard-working Kenyan national. Her days were spent running an M-Pesa shop on the outskirts of Nakuru City, employed by a businessman named Stephen Mbuthia. She wasn't famous. She wasn't controversial. But within a week, her name would be on the lips of every concerned citizen, her story igniting shock, anger, and questions. After disappearing on May 21st, 6 days later, on May 26th, her lifeless body was found dumped like garbage in a factory farm, decomposed and discarded. But this is how it all began. It started quietly. May 20th, a Tuesday, at exactly 2 p.m. Ann Waithera told her employer she wanted to visit KCB Bank to deposit 280,000 shillings, a significant amount. But her boss, Stephen Mbuthia, told her there was no need to rush. She could handle the deposit the following day. By that evening, the float had grown. Anne closed the day with 300,000 shillings in hand, a hefty sum for a mobile money agent. The next day, Wednesday, May 21st, Anne opened the shop as usual at 7:30 a.m., right on time, just as her boss had always instructed. And again, Mbuthia reminded her, "Deposit the money by 1 p.m. As the clock inched toward midday, the float kept increasing. By 12:50 p.m., she had 330,000 shillings. She informed her boss. According to a nearby vendor, Anne closed her M-Pesa shop and told her she was heading to KCB Bank, located inside Nakuru's central business district, meaning Anne likely left just minutes before 1 p.m. A man named Zachariah Wanjohi, who was Anne's husband, arrived at the shop roughly 45 minutes later. at exactly 1:45 p.m. Driving his Nissan Days taxi, he pulled up, asked the vendor where Ann was, and she answered casually, "She left for the bank." So far, everything appeared routine. But then, nothing happened. You see, in a well-oiled system, her boss, Stephen Mbuthia, was used to receiving automated alerts when Ann deposited money. It normally took less than an hour, but this time, 1 p.m. came and went, 2 p.m. silence, 3 p.m. still no alert. By 4 p.m., Mbuthia called her phone. It was switched off. Even then, he did not panic. Ann had never let him down before. She was trusted, consistent, reliable. Meanwhile, her husband Zachariah, he drove straight to Nakuru police station and attempted to report his wife as missing, but was turned away. The law required that 24 hours pass before a missing persons report could be filed. Later that evening, at 5 p.m., Stephen Mbuthia's calm ran out. He too drove to Nakuru police station, but this time he filed a report of stealing by servant, suspecting Ann may have vanished with the 330,000 shillings. The next morning, Thursday, May 22nd, Zachariah returned to the station. This time, he successfully filed a missing persons report, logged under OB number 43/22/5/2025. That report activated an official investigation by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, the DCI. 5 days later, on May 26th, a decomposed body was discovered at a remote location inside Technology Farm. The body was identified as Ann Waithera. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is where our investigation truly begins. We set out to uncover who killed her. But to do that, we didn't start with blood or footprints or CCTV. No. We began by examining behavior, the behavior of those who surrounded her, not just those nearby, but those closest to her. Our first person of interest was Zachariah Wanjohi, the husband of the late Ann Waithera. And our focus? His behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Zachariah Wanjohi, he told The Standard during their visit that on May 21st he was working as usual with his taxi in Nakuru. He claimed that at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Ann called him, asking for 1,500 shillings for the salon. Zachariah says he sent the money immediately. But later on, when he tried to call her to confirm if she had received it, her phone was off. That was at 2:30 p.m. But here is the problem. According to the vendor near the M-Pesa shop where Ann worked, Zachariah Wanjohi arrived at the shop at 1:45 p.m., just 45 minutes after Ann had left for the bank. He asked about Ann's whereabouts and was told she had gone to KCB Bank. Zachariah claimed he had been trying to reach her, that her phone was not going through. This is exactly what he also told the DCI. But according to the police, Ann Waithera's phone went off at 1:30 p.m., just 30 minutes after she left the shop. So here's the contradiction. If Ann's phone went off at 1:30 p.m., how did Zachariah claim to have spoken to her at 2 p.m. and sent her money for the salon? Zachariah is a suspect. Now, let's reason together. We've all had times when a loved one's phone went off. Maybe for 2 hours, 3, even 7 hours, or even a whole day. But how long does it really take for someone to decide that their loved one is missing and rush to the police station? According to the police report, Zachariah Wanjohi arrived at the police station at 3 p.m., just 1 hour and 30 minutes after Ann's phone was switched off. If he truly tried calling from 1:30 p.m. and couldn't reach her, is that enough time to rush to the station and report a disappearance? What logic is that? Again, we at LifeLens TV strongly believe Zachariah Wanjohi, the husband of the late Ann Waithera, is a suspect, if not guilty. But it doesn't stop there. Now, here is the shocking part. According to police findings presented in court, from 1:10 p.m., just 10 minutes after Ann left the M-Pesa shop, Ann's phone and Zachariah's phone were moving together. They remained together until Ann's phone was switched off at 1:30 p.m. Our own analysis leads us to this. Since the vendor testified that Zachariah Wanjohi arrived at the shop at 1:45 p.m., pretending to be looking for Ann, we believe Zachariah had already left Ann to her killers. His appearance at the shop was nothing but a cover-up to create the image of a concerned husband, while in reality, Ann Waithera was already in danger, possibly already in the hands of those who killed her. And why? 330,000 Kenya shillings. That's what she had at the time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important to note, May 21st was not the first time Ann had gone to deposit large sums of money. According to her boss, Steveni Mbuthia, this was routine. In fact, just a week earlier, Ann had successfully deposited 680,000 Kenya shillings. Steveni Mbuthia admits, even though he initially reported a case of stealing by servant, deep down he knew something was off. According to the police report, when they carried out their investigation, they found Zachariah Wanjohi with 49,000 Kenya shillings. Money they believed was part of the 330,000 shillings that Ann Waithera was supposed to deposit at the bank. Now, Zachariah was operating a digital taxi, and when asked about the 49,000 shillings, he claimed it was money paid to him by passengers that day. But let's be honest. In modern-day Kenya, 99% of customers pay using mobile money transfers, especially in the taxi business. So for Zachariah to claim that he had received such a large sum in cash only raised serious eyebrows. But that's not all. According to people who knew Ann personally, she was living a very troubled life. Her husband Zachariah was described as a womanizer. Ann couldn't keep even a single shilling in peace. Despite him operating a taxi business, Ann always complained that Zachariah never contributed anything in the house. All his money, she said, was spent on other women. He would sometimes disappear for a whole week without checking in. But despite all this, Ann persevered, hoping to hold her marriage together. So, if we are being logical, ladies and gentlemen, and we know this was a routine job for Ann, to deposit money to the bank, then Zachariah Wanjohi had planned this long before. He was just waiting for the right moment to execute his evil plan. And on that day, May 21st, that moment came. A moment he saw fit to carry out what appears to be a well-planned murder. With all these contradictions, suspicions, and glaring red flags, the DCI had no other option but to arrest him. Zachariah Wanjohi is now the main suspect in the murder of Ann Waithera, a young Kenyan woman, full of dreams, whose life was cut short at only 23 years old. As we speak, Zachariah Wanjohi is in prison as the police continue piecing together every detail of this tragic case. At LifeLens TV, we stand in solidarity with Ann's family, and we advocate for justice for Ann Waithera. We will continue following this case, and we promise to keep updating you as new information unfolds. And now, as we leave this case in the capable hands of the DCI, that's all we had for you, dear viewers. Does this video resonate with you? Did you find it informative and eye-opening? Then, to stay locked in with LLT, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends and family, subscribe to LifeLens TV, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that when we drop a video like this, YouTube will notify you immediately. To our amazing subscribers, thank you so much. You've walked with us on this journey, and I do not take it for granted. Without your support, this channel would not be where it is today. Once again, thank you. Until next time, let me wish you peace, wisdom, and success in everything you are doing. And goodbye.